What you're about to see on this documentary is Pets for Vets for PTSD people. It's a testimony of two soldiers who have had their life turned upside down after they got out of the war, and you're going to see how service dogs have saved their lives. So sit back, take a look. Pets for Vets, PTSD, helping folks with animals.
Oh yeah, constantly. Tremendous impact. I was pretty much of a shut-in, rarely went out, didn't do very much. When I received Emma, I had to go out to walk her. That was the first step. And people seemed to be more interested in the dog than me. Gradually, I've made friends around the neighborhood because of Emma. Life has been a lot better now than without her. Tremendous gaps. I was married for 21 years. My wife died of cancer in 2001. Needless to say, I was very depressed for quite a few years. And Emma's filled a gap there. I lived by myself. And without the dog there, it became lonelier and lonelier and lonelier. But when I got the dog, there was somebody else in the house. Every time I came home, there was a wagging tail there for me. Emma always stayed close to me. Gradually, I started taking her to stores and restaurants, and she flew on an airplane with me as a paying passenger because she had to sit in a seat. They told me to put her under the seat. I said, no, she's not going under the seat. She's sitting next to me. She'll have a window seat so she can look out the window. I take her everywhere. I've taken her to Washington, D.C. when it was open. We went in all the museums together. On the 16th, I'm taking her to California with me. She goes everywhere. It's a strong bond. She depends on me for food and all that sort of thing, and also for love and understanding. Because when she isn't wearing this jacket, she's a typical dog. And sometimes she gets into typical dog troubles. I have a fenced yard, and one of her big things, it's a 4-foot-high fence, chain link fence, is jumping over the fence, back and forth. It's a game for her. And when I walk out on the deck, she knows she's doing wrong, and she crawls over to me and puts her head on my foot. In the beginning, it's a give and take situation. I have to learn about her, she has to learn about me. It takes a few weeks, even a few months, to really get that bond there, where we know, where she knows what she needs to do for me and what I need to do for her. I go out a lot more, I date more, I'm active in sports. I'm an avid scuba diver, and she paddles along on top. Wherever the bubbles go, that's where she goes. She wears a life jacket, not that she needs it. She's just made a real good friend. Yeah, I go to the VA outpatient clinic here in Hot Springs. The doctors noticed since I've had the dog that I've been more open in discussing my PTSD and various other problems that I have. They've just noticed a tremendous difference in just having the dog. Most definitely. I had Emma up at North Little Rock, which is the psychological part of the VA hospital system. And there was a fella there that had just returned from Afghanistan. Didn't talk to anyone, stayed by himself. Emma went over to him, and she put her snoot under his arms to raise him. And he looked at Emma, and he started to pet her and talk to her. And the head of the ward said, you know, he's been here 2 months, and that's the most he's done in 2 months, is hug the dog and talk to the dog. Otherwise, he was just by himself. His program is unique. I think it's the only one in the state of Arkansas, since the VA has seen fit not to get involved with service dogs. They do dogs for the blind and dogs for the deaf. But they've actually said they see no need for service dogs for other veterans. Yet all the states around us have programs. I would hope that the service dog program would go nationwide. As I say, some states have it, some don't. If you want to get a veteran talking who has PTSD, get them out of their home, get them into society, get them a service dog. She goes everywhere with me. She's my buddy. I've taken her on dates. Sometimes that's been good and sometimes that hasn't been good. But so be it. She's friendly, but yet she's protective. She's just a wonderful dog. She was an abused dog. Dr. Zepecki called me up one day and says, I think I have a dog here for you. Came down, Emma and I met, and I took her home. It was about 3 weeks before she'd go anywhere near me. And after that, we were going on walks and all that, and shortly after that, her training started. I've continued with the training. She's really well behaved. I've heard people in restaurants tell me she's better behaved than my grandkids. We were on an airplane. There were some kids right behind us acting up, and the parents couldn't do anything. And Emma just stood up and went, "Rrrr." The kids just sat there, not another peep out of them. When we got off the plane, when it landed, the father says, where can I get a dog like that? After she growled at my kids, I've got to have a dog like that. They never said another word. I says, well, I can't tell you where you can get a dog. Ask your local veterinarian about it. That's all I can say.
I joined the military in the late 80s. I'm a veteran, 13 years, active duty infantry, Army. I'm a veteran from Panama conflict, Desert Storm and Shield, Cold War, and Yugoslavia. I was part of Yugoslavian peacekeepers when the Yugoslavian war broke out. That's where I got my PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndromes, because I witnessed a lot of the atrocities that were over there and a lot of the problems that were going on. I retired in '97. Actually, I was hired by Dr. Zepecki as a veterinarian assistant 2 years ago, and he started this program for the post-traumatic stress syndrome Ptsd K9 program. What it is we take care of the pets that help the vets. Dr. Zepecki, being a veterinarian, he believes that if we can take care of the animals will take care of the veterans. And this is my post-traumatic stress syndrome dog. This is Cheyenne. Cheyenne is a full-blooded Rottweiler. What she does with me is whenever I start getting into my post-traumatic stress symptoms, like zoning out or getting angry or something like that, she has a reaction to it. And whenever I see her reaction to it, it triggers me out of that stress or out of that behavior. For example, if my anger comes up, she's a 120-pound Rottweiler who cowers. Well, 120-pound Rottweiler cowers is not normal. So I sit there and I have to evaluate myself, saying, why is this big dog cowering? Well, then I check myself and say, okay, I'm getting angry. I need to calm down. You notice she's very affectionate. She gives me the affection that I need. A lot of the post-traumatic stress syndromes is feeling that we're not wanted or needed because of the situations that we have been in and the stresses and strains that we've been in. But she gives me all that, don't you? She gives 100% love with nothing back. She doesn't expect anything. She doesn't want anything. She just wants my love. Whenever I zone out, I catch myself, or I don't catch myself going back into that mental state, then she'll come up and nudge me, saying, hey, what's wrong, Daddy? What's wrong? So that breaks me out of that mental state, and I start focusing on her. That's where the post-traumatic stress animal helps the veteran. Brings that love, unconditional love, brings that, hey, there's something wrong with you, you might want to look at. DAVK9 focuses on the veteran and the animal, because if she's not taken care of, then I'm not taken care of. And like I said, Dr. Ptsd concentrates on the veterinarian side of the house, where he makes sure the animal themselves are taken care of. Great impact, because in a post-traumatic stress syndrome, you get a deep depression. And we're talking about so deep that suicidal tendencies to come up, thoughts of suicide, stuff like this. A dog helps that, because once you get into that depression, they have a tendency to bring you out of it by the petting, the love, the constant being around you, the friendship, the companionship, which a lot of us PTSD guys are missing, because when we were in combat, we had that unity. We had total friendship. You had that person next to you watching your back, and you knew that person was going to watch your back no matter what. Now I've got somebody to watch my back. I've got a dog who, no matter what I do, no matter how I act, she will always love me. Oh, definitely. The dog brings me out of my comfort zone, brings me out of that depression, gets me out more, because I have to actually go out and bring stuff I have to go shop for. I have to come up to the vet to make sure the vet's taking care of her. I socialize more because I bring her everywhere I go. Everybody comes up, oh, look at your dog, a great dog. So it gets me out of that self-pity and the stresses of dealing with other people. Yes. Because like I stated before, we don't specifically get a service dog for the vet. If the vet picks a dog that's bonded with him already, then we work with the service dog and we get them into the program, because that's what you want. You want this bonding. That's where it really helps out, and where it'll help out other vets, because we're lacking that bonding. There's no way of explaining how much a soldier bonds with another soldier without being there. If you've been in a hostile situation, you get to know how much you rely on that person. With the dog, it's the same thing. You realize how much you rely on this dog. The difference I've seen was my social skills. I was very depressed, very unsocial. I didn't want to be around people, didn't care about being around people, felt that I didn't need to. With the dog helping me with my social skills has got me being more open, being more understanding that I need to be open with people. I need to be with people. I don't need to be depressed, because it's not good for me. When I'm sad or unhappy, she comes up with her toy and she says, hey, come on, let's play. I'm feeling down, or I'm hurting mentally, physically, emotionally, because I'm a disabled veteran too. And she'll say, hey, come on, let's go do something. And that way, it gets me active. Oh, definitely. The social gap that the PTSD puts veterans through, the dog itself helps bridge that gap. When I take her out, everybody's like, oh man, what a dog. That right there bridges the gap between me and other people, where without the dog, I wouldn't even talk to him. I'd be like, you don't understand me, you don't care about me, go away. There's a lot of people who don't understand the veteran because they don't understand what we've gone through. And we try to explain it to them, but it's like talking to somebody in a different country. The communication is a little different. Well, with the dog, it bridges that communication. It's like, oh, she's got the vest on, she's a service dog. What is she a service dog of? I said, well, I got post-traumatic stress. Oh, really? What does she do? She's very lovable. She sees how much love she gives to me, and that's that bridge between other people. And they say, okay, cool. And it shows a lot of people that veterans are working on their issues. Veterans are not people who just say, hey, I got a problem, please help me. We say, hey, I got a problem, let me help myself. Because 99.9% of the veterans want to fix it themselves. Because that's the way we were trained. That's the way we were taught. You get a situation, you analyze the situation, and you fix the situation. And we don't want handouts. All the veterans I know, don't want handouts. You sit there and say, I'm going to help you, and they say, no, I don't take charity, because we don't want charity, we just want help. And with the PTSD program and the dog program, I can help myself get through my PTSD with her help. I've been with the program for 2 years, working with the program. I'm the PTSD program trainer. Dr. Ptsd gives us 100% to the program. He's gone overboard with a lot of things with the program. We've gotten veterans from all over Arkansas coming to us. A veteran goes, I can't make it, I can't get over there, I can't spend that much time. You know, it's too much drive to here to there. And he said, not a problem, we'll put you up in a motel. And he did. He put him up in a motel so we could take care of the dog, and the dog went home and with the vet. He's willing to go above and beyond what needs to be done to take care of the dog so the dog can take care of the vet. Things to help the program. It is a nonprofit organization. We're not making any money off of it, but vet bills and vet medicine costs. That's where the help comes from the outside. A shot for her costs $18.50. Well, where's that money coming from? That gets me depressed. I can't take care of my dog. I can't take care of my life. That gets me back into depression. Well, the PTSD program takes that stress off of me. I don't have to worry about that $18.50 for a shot for her. Dr. Ptsd gives it. To help the PTSD program, if we can get funds from outside to help us take care of some of the bills that's accumulating with the nonprofit, then that helps the veteran too. It's like these vests. These vests aren't cheap, but Dr. Ptsd pulls out his own pocket to buy the vests from a group that hand makes them. If we can get the word out about the program and get somebody to say, hey, help us. A veteran doesn't want handouts, just needs help. That's what I ask everybody to do. Just help, you know? Huh?
I'm a doctor of veterinary medicine and a veteran. We call him Lucky Jack because he survived an arrowhead in his head for 6 months and had it removed successfully and readjusted to humanity. Now he accepts everybody, whereas before it took a little while. Jack has what we would call PTSD, just like the veterans do that we treat and work with. He's wearing a vest that was donated by the Daughters of the Eastern Star. All the service dogs that we have for veterans get a vest so that when they go into public, they're recognized as at least having some legitimacy. The dogs that get our vest here, they have been tested, evaluated, and certified. When you see a red vest on a doggie in Arkansas, you can be pretty sure that it's a nice dog and that the veteran has gone through a training program. First, we ask the veteran to go to a shelter if they don't already have a dog until they find a dog that wags its tail, comes up and licks them on the hand. That's their dog. And if that dog is suitable for them and they're suitable for the doggie, we ask them to at least have the doggie at home for 2 weeks at their house with their family or wherever they live. Once they're bonded, then they come up here to the center and we provide any training for the dog that's necessary. Most of the time the doggie has figured it all out, but we have doggies that have been trained for seizures and mainly for what I call a PTSD incidents where the veteran becomes kind of moody or displaced or distracted. The dog can tell that there's something wrong here. Now the doggie doesn't heal the veteran, but they alert the veteran that something is going on, and a lot of times veterans don't have any understanding of their own reactions until somebody brings it to their attention, which is their dog. Service dogs or veterans serve a lot of functions. One of the biggest benefits of a service dog to the veterans that I see is that a doggie will get them out of the house. If you haven't been through combat or a war experience, you won't understand it. But it's very hard for veterans to go out into crowds, go to restaurants, go shopping, anything that involves the public. When they have a service dog and they've bonded to the doggie, and then the doggie's also been certified and will walk on a leash and won't growl at anybody, then they have more of a reason to go out into public. Getting a veteran's attention off their problems is what therapy is about, and that's what the doggies do for them. When you have a dog, you have to take care of it, you have to take it outside, you have to feed it, bathe it, do all kinds of things. And every function that a veteran can focus on another entity, which is in this case their own dog, helps the veteran. The misunderstood matter about PTSD pertaining to veterans from combat situations. Each day is as hard as the day past, and it's going to be as hard as the next day. Most PTSD veterans go all their lives with the condition and just learn to live with it. They don't recover from it, they learn to live with it. I've talked to veterans from World War II who still have PTSD. So it can go on for 50 or 60 years or for the extent of your life. I had PTSD for 30 years after Vietnam and didn't know it until a psychiatrist told me that, and I said, "What do you mean? I don't think I have anything." He said, "Yeah, you do." Of course, I've had dogs all my life as a veterinarian, so I didn't really realize what a benefit they were to me, but now I understand. I've had service dogs all my life and didn't know it. So that's why I decided to do this for the veterans that we talk to through the PTSD program. If they want a doggie, or if they have a doggie, or if they think they need a doggie, we'll help them any way we can. The successes have far outweighed any problems we've had with any of them. So veterans have a two-way street here. At the same time that they need a dog, they also understand that they have some responsibilities to the public, and that is to not impose themselves on the public or their dog in any way that would be uncomfortable to the public. That's what service dogs are basically all about. Jack here has PTSD, and it took him about 2 years to accept humans. But now he's not really that uncomfortable with people. So I can almost tell you that I think that the dogs can recover from traumatic stress or being mistreated a little easier than we humans can. They're an example for us. Mankind spends all of their efforts to provide unconditional love, forgive each other, forgive hurts, do the healing. We all talk about all the time, don't have wars. But really, animals are the ones that set the example for that, especially dogs. I'm constantly amazed by how dogs respond to people in the worst circumstances. That's the example that I believe they give to veterans. This total commitment to the veteran, 24 hours a day, something that your family can't do, that your relatives can't do, that counseling can't do, that the VA can't do. But this 24-hour attention is what veterans need, and this is why the service dog is so important to veterans. I have PTSD and I know what it's like, and I was invited to go up to the VA about 5 years ago and meet with some veterans, and I walked into this room of people who have been going in and out of therapy, some of them for 30 years, and I thought, hey, these guys and girls are the same as me. So I took a dog up there, and he was put there as kind of a test, and it was a huge success. So I decided that I would help any veteran that wanted our help in any way we could, and we provide them with a dog, or else we help the dog that they have. We train them, we take care of all of the dog's needs. Most 100% disabled veterans are not wealthy, so we provide all the services for them that we can provide in any way we can. We don't have any rules because there are already plenty of rules for disabled veterans, so we just provide them with what they need and what their doggie needs. And the program's been quite successful. We've provided over 30 dogs, and there have been another 20 or 30 that came with the veteran. The veterans that come in here understand that there's no pressure on them or their dog. We do what we have to. As a veterinarian, I take care of the medical needs of the animals, and we don't charge for that. Some veterans want to pay, and that's fine, but we don't require them to pay. I don't want a veteran to become bonded to a dog and then have the dog develop an illness or get injured or something and then find out that they can't afford the treatment. So we are their safety valve. We ensure them that that doggie will be kept healthy for its entire life so it can be a